Hey, hi, and hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a weekly track roundup. My thoughts, my feelings, my opinions, my beliefs on a bunch of tracks that have dropped over the past week or so. They're all linked down below, so you could check them out for yourself. That is the deal, for real. Let's get into it, because also linked down below is our Turntable Lab link. We get kickback from it if you use it to buy some vinyl or whatever. Also, our Patreon page. Support us while getting some extra bonus monthly content in the process. That sounds cool. Yeah, it does. I'm talking to myself. Also, our YouTube Shorts page, where we put up all that sweet short form content on YouTube anyway. Our website with a regularly updated news section. What crazy! Love that too. And a quick shout out from Austin to the project Leroy. We have tracks EXO Tour Life and I Did It For Us. Uzi Vert nod there, obviously. With Austin saying Jane Remover is prepping a new Daria Core project and has dropped a couple of tracks from it so far. In classic Leroy fashion, there are a lot. That's it. That's the shout out. So those tracks are linked down below for the Jane Remover hardcores in chat. All right, let's go to the worst tracks of the week. We have a couple. We have a few. New one from Muse, Unravelling. Muse just continues to make just more embarrassing pop rock music, which to me is crazy considering the place they were at creatively years ago. It sort of seems like with each new project, they find ways to either make their sound more bland and uninspired, or grating and annoying. I would say this track is more the former. We also have a new one from Cardi B, Outside. One of the most uninspired, boring, and underproduced and underwritten singles Cardi B has dropped since the release of her album, which it is frankly years ago at this point. I don't know if we're ever going to get another Cardi B album. Honestly, I'm just sort of like tired of anticipating it. I'm tired of waiting. Especially if it, in the meantime, while we wait for a record, and who knows if this track is going to be on the album, we're getting hit with tracks of this very low, basic, again, uninspired quality. Cardi B phoning the hell in on this track. Just really not trying at all. Not really sure what else to say. Moving on. Okay, tracks that I was met on, want to give those a shout out too. Maybe I'm not crazy about them, but you might like them more than me. Starting with this new Fortet track, Into Dust, Still Falling. Very chill, low-key house vibes with some interesting Mazzy Star samples on this one, as this track is a callback to Into Dust, Still Falling, so on and so forth. So it's almost like a remix of sorts in a way, you could say, and it's a decent one at that. All right, we also have PinkPantheress, who is back with a Lucy non-album track, Close to You. It's a short one. It's danceable. It's kind of catchy, but I'm kind of liking the quality of the cuts on the new album more than this. But hey, it's an extra. It's not too bad. We also have Marissa Nadler over here, who is hitting us with a new single, a new album cycle on the way, New Radiations. And I don't know, I feel like while the calm and spacey vibes and atmosphere are there, as to be expected with Marissa Nadler, I feel like she's written songs with stronger and more interesting melodies than this. This just kind of felt like the strumming patterns and the melodies were I don't know, just maybe a bit too half-baked for her, in my opinion. But, maybe other singles and deep cuts will be a bit more intriguing than this one. We've also got Lorde, who's hitting us with another single, third, I believe. This one's the opener to the upcoming album, Virgin. Hammer is the title of the track. And I feel like this track kind of falls in line with all the singles so far. You've got some electronic and dance-inspired beats. You have kind of a linear progression of sorts, not a super strong chorus, and Lorde hitting us with a lot of lyrics that just kind of feel like we're being rushed through a really intense experience and occurrence and are just very emotionally overwhelmed. It's almost cinematic in a way, but, you know, not nearly as catchy as many tracks from her breakout debut, Melodrama. And, you know, while I do sort of, you know, concur that this is definitely like a nicer change of pace from what she did on her last record, I'm just not super crazy about the songwriting. I think she's written better and more coherent songs melodically and, again, structurally. The Dare hitting us with the track Cheeky, another song from kind of the Afters Deluxe edition of his latest record. It's pretty much your standard Dare affair. On this one, you got the shouty vocals, you got the dance beats, you got that New York indie sleaze influence. It's fine. It's okay. I'm not like reading too much into it, given that this is like an additional extra track. Just, you know, if you're loving that record that he just dropped, you're most likely going to enjoy this track too, because it does kind of go toe to toe energy wise with some of the most hype tracks on the album. It's decent. It's fine. Personally, I'm looking forward to the next album cycle and era for the Dara, because hopefully it, you know, sort of actually provides maybe a bit more variety, versatility, depth, and some more interesting lyrics. I think there's a lot of great, strong bassline elements to the Dare's vibe and influences and style and sound, but, you know, I just hope to hear it be built upon on a future record. That is all. All right. We also have a Westside Cowboy, who are hitting us with a somewhat rootsy, peppy, high tempo indie rock alt country blend cut. All right. I mean, it's got a solid performance. I just feel like the vocals aren't maybe the most fitting for this sound or style, or could have been a bit more exciting or gruff or something. But, you know, still, Westside Cowboy building up quite a bit of momentum right now, doing some cool stuff, even if I'm not like, you know, head over heels for this particular track. All right, best tracks of the week. We have quite a few of those. They are as follows. First off, I want to give a quick shout out to, and I forgot to include it here, that new track that Offset dropped with JID that has the insane drowning pool sample in the lyrics. That track is actually quite fun, quite good. JID's, JID's verse on it is very good. And even Offset, you know, I mean, he does this kind of typical Offset Migos thing on it, but, you know, it's decent. It suffices. And the, you know, production, the instrumental is quite fun. Bodies is the track. We also have SOPHIE over here. We are being hit with some leftover material from the product compilation era, and while these songs over here, Get Higher and Ooh, do feel like they both contain elements that are like repurposed from other songs that like landed on the product compilation, they're still cool and they're still very fun and entertaining to hear, and sort of, you know, is a very positive reminder of how fun and quirky and unique the product era was for SOPHIE, and why it was so significant of, you know, kind of a breakout, a jumping off point for the music that would come later. Rest in peace to SOPHIE. All right, we also have a new one over here from White Pony, Riko Dan, Flowdan, Do It Like Me. Some quality, hard-hitting grime on this one. Great flows, bassy beat, high energy. Loving this one quite a bit too. Also, shout out to Ninajirachi, who we also shouted out last week, came through with this iPod Touch bit song and you know, bit of single art here, and yeah, it's a cool bit of Y2K dance pop with some great beats, some catchy melodies. It's quite fun as well, very whimsical and free and fun. Also, shout out to Mechatok and Bladee, as well as Echo 2K, Expression on Your Face, one of the danciest and poppiest cuts we've seen these three come together on. I was kind of surprised to see chat during our New Music Friday streams really mess with this track, even though, you know, a lot of listeners during the live streams don't really, you know, like Bladee quite too much. But this song, even for those non-Bladee fans, is quite appealing, apparently, and, you know, quite fun. It's not quite as washed out or, you know, navel gazing as a lot of the Drain Gang type stuff that you hear. You know, if you're looking for something that's got kind of a straightforward dance pop, very synthetic flair to it, that is direct and quite catchy, this is the one to listen to. We've also got Lola Young, Not like that anymore. New single from her, which I'm liking kind of the post-punky vibe on this instrumental and the rawness in Lola's voice. I would say at this point I'm a bit Lola Young neutral. Some tracks to me come off a bit, underwhelming. Others have maybe a bit more of a gruff attitude and bite to them. I would say this track kind of fits into the latter, and it's quite fun. I'm liking it quite a bit. All right, we also have Kesha over here hitting us with Boy Crazy, favorite single of the new album cycle so far. Loving the hard-hitting synth pop production, loving the chorus, loving Kesha's vocals. Kind of keeps with the zany, high energy, kooky, old school Kesha vibe that she has clearly been going for with all of these new tracks. But I feel like this is the best example of bringing that kind of vibe, but also pairing it with a great song that is not like grating or obnoxious, in my opinion. I mean, hey, I know this new album cycle has not been for many, and maybe for some recent fans who are more used to the ballads and the more mellow material that Kesha has been, sort of like making her name on in recent years. This might seem like, whoa, this is kind of a hard turn in another direction, but it's kind of cool to hear Kesha go back to something that's a bit more classic in a sense, in terms of that high attitude, in your face girly pop type of era. All right, we also have Jerome's Dream hitting us with a new single. It is some very abrasive, very heavy, great feedback-laced riffs, type scrams, some very good quality stuff over here. It is visceral as hell. The vocals are fiery too. Also enjoying this new one from none other than horsegiirL, who has given us a bit of I would say Euro trance on this YOLO cut. Maybe a dated phrase to kind of back the track behind, but as far as modern Euro dance goes, this track is pretty good in my opinion. Great beats, very entrancing, as it should be. Dreamy vocals, very light and polite synths too. Liking this new Hives track, even with some of the weird kind of drum segues and transitions that happen on this paint a picture track. It's very fun. It's very rowdy. It's very gruff. Kind of reminds me of old school Hives, but maybe a bit more of a loose, wild attitude to it, and not so speedy and kind of tight and punky. Just more like kind of all over the place. Liking also this new one from Guerilla Toss. This track over here sees the band almost like making a mid to late 60s kind of rock vibe, but with their typical alien strange lead vocals, but kind of smooths out on the chorus quite a bit in an interesting way. The name of the track is Red Flag to Angry Bull. Quite the contrast from their last single too, stylistically, but it's Guerilla Toss. Creatively, they're always going to be all over the place and pushing new frontiers and new ground with whatever the heck they do, which is whatever the heck they want. And also shout out to Fred again, Skepta, and PlaqueBoyMax for this new single over here, Victory Lap. What a banger. What a banger, man. I mean, we know Fred again is capable of making hard-hitting cuts like this. We know Skepta to this day is a great rapper. But PlaqueBoyMax really, shout out to him because he's making some impressive connections and actually putting out here and there some good creative output when he actually does nail down a good quality collaboration with an artist, with a collaborator, really kind of making that super successful and, valid transition. I wouldn't say transition, but being able to keep one foot in the streaming world while simultaneously, kind of growing his footprint in the music world in a legitimate sense, and putting out some good material in the process with some, very seasoned veterans. All right. We also have Clipse. Speaking of seasoned veterans, these guys have been getting seasoned for years, and they've been baking for years for this comeback, for this new project. So Be It is the name of the cut. Pharrell production, of course. Loving what sounds like, some Arabic string sections in the mix. The reverse percussion production is amazing. Malice has some killer wordplay. Pusha T has some killer wordplay. I'm sure all of you have seen the drama having to do with the Travis Scott call out and diss toward the end of the track. It's just classic Clipse, honestly. It's just classic Clipse, but with a bit of a darker, nastier edge to it. And I'm loving it. Frankly, I'm fully here for it. I'm so excited for this album. And that has been it for the weekly track roundup, everybody. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this video. Over here next to my head, another video that you could check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, weekly tracks forever.